this season, Chicago returned with three-peat in mind. But the Knicks had other thoughts. New York won 2 of their 3 meetings with Chicago as part of a season-long race for supremacy in the East. And while the Bulls still remain the team to beat, the Knicks have won the valuable home court edge. Today, a chance for the top 2 teams in the East to make one final statement.
Today, it's the Chicago Bulls versus the New York Knicks.
Another sellout crowd has turned out at Madison Square Garden in New York for a franchise record 40th time. The Garden is filled to capacity for the New York Knicks, who will face the 2-time defending champion Chicago Bulls. The Knicks at 59-22 with 4 straight wins. They've won 8 of the last 9, while the Bulls at 57-24, and they have won 9 of their last 12. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, along with the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello. We welcome you to the NBA Game of the Week. Now, Mike, this was to be a showdown game for top spot of the Eastern Conference for home court advantage right throughout the playoffs, but all, as it turned out, was settled on Friday night. So for Pat Riley and Phil Jackson, what is the mentality going into today's game?
Let's deal with the Chicago Bulls first and Phil Jackson. Immediately after that game against Charlotte, his thoughts were, rest my key guys. Let's not take a chance on any injuries happening. But after talking to the players and feeling the emotion involved, he realized they want to win this game and send the message to the New York Knicks. So what might change here today is the fact that he might shorten his rotations a little bit. Instead of 19 or 20 minutes in the first half, only 16 to 17 for the key guys. Come second half, he'll see what the score is like and then go all out to win down the stretch. I doubt if we'll see the pressing defense and all their offense, but I know they want to win.
And Pat Riley says he wants Patrick Ewing to get the playing time. Patrick Ewing has been struggling recently, sore knees, a sprained right elbow, but Pat Riley says he wants Patrick Ewing to play right through those injuries.
And speaking to Riley a short time ago, he said maybe not 45 minutes for Patrick Ewing, but there is something to accomplish this afternoon. Go for 60 wins. I never want to talk about rest because that's when players back off and injuries take place. And then we feel we owe something to our fans. It would be quite an achievement to win 60 games.
All right, Mike, and when we come back, this crowd will be responding at a very high decibel level.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. Today's game features the Chicago Bulls and your New York Knicks. Here's today's starting lineup. First for the Bulls. At guard, at 6'2" from Iowa, number 10, B.J. Armstrong. At guard, at 6'6" from North Carolina, number 23, Michael Jordan. At forward, at 6'7" from Central Arkansas, number 33, Scottie Pippen. At forward, at 6'10" from Clemson, number 54, Horace Grant. At center, at 7'1" from San Francisco, number 24, Bill Cartwright. The trainer is Chip Schaefer, assistant coaches John Bach, Jim Clemens, and Tex Winter, and the head coach of the Bulls, Phil Jackson. And now, please welcome the Atlantic Division champions, your New York Knicks. At guard, at 6'5" from Oklahoma State, number 3, John Starks. At guard, at 6'4" from Marquette, number 25, Doug Rivers.
crowd here at the Garden has matched what was heard in the Knicks championship days back in the early 70s. We have double coverage along the sidelines today as we are joined by Hannah Storm and Ahmad Rashad. First, this report from Hannah.
Okay, Mark, first let's talk about the Knicks injury situation. I watched Greg Anthony during warm-ups on that right ankle that he re-sprained Wednesday night. He didn't seem to be favoring it, but he told me later that it felt about 50-50. As you mentioned, Patrick Ewing's playing with a sore right elbow, also sore knees. I asked him about his elbow, and he gave me a look that said, it feels okay. He'll be wearing a rubberized elbow brace during the game today, but didn't hamper his performance on Friday night. As for the mood in the locker room, hey, several of the Knicks told me they want to beat these guys. They know they're going to face them down the road in the playoffs. At least they think they are. And as Doc Rivers said, you know, we really don't like the Bulls. Ahmad?
All right, Hannah, you could feel the intensity during the warm-ups here. As Horace Grant told me, there's too many competitors here, and for this not to be a game that doesn't mean anything. Scottie Pippen started the trash talking early as he told Charles Oakley that not only were they going to three-peat, but that he would also give him tickets to watch him in the NBA Finals.
Oh, new material from Scotty. The officials, Jake O'Donnell, Jim Clark, and Ed F. Rush. It is the fourth meeting of the regular season between the Knicks and the Bulls. Knicks have won 2 out of 3. The first one here at the Garden, though, saw Michael Jordan go down early with a leg injury, although he did return. The Bulls beat the Knicks coming from behind Christmas night in Chicago. They'll jump again. And the last meeting in Chicago on February the 12th, Michael Jordan missing because of the one-game suspension, the result of his fight with Reggie Miller of the Indiana Pacers, and the Knicks won that game 104-98, although it was a struggle. That incidentally ended a 13-game regular season losing streak at Chicago Stadium. The Bulls controlling the opening tip. B.J. Armstrong, Michael Jordan, Bill Cartwright, Horace Grant, Scottie Pippen on the floor. There's Cartwright and Grant. Ewing with the rebound. Patrick Ewing, who had another 20-plus rebound game in Philly on Friday, 26 points, 24 rebounds. That's a holding foul. Tom Pippen.
In transition, New York tries to go immediately to Charles Smith, who has about 3 inches on Scottie Pippen. They send Smith down low into the post area, pick up a personal foul on Pippen.
Scottie Pippen, when we last saw him on NBC last Sunday night, was in the throes of a shooting slump. He came out of it against the Cavaliers, but twisted his ankle, and the Bulls were delighted that he was able to get right back into the action.
Came right back, played the next game, then had 19 in the first half against the Detroit Pistons in game number 2, back from the injury. So he says he feels okay. He's ready to go.
Charles Smith comes off an 8 for 13, 23-point game on Friday in Philadelphia, last Tuesday in Miami. Season high of 36, and he has turned it up. He's played well recently. The Knicks 2 and the Bulls nothing. Oakley guarding Grant. Cartwright getting position on Ewing. They try to get Cartwright involved early. He's playing with a pulled muscle. There was a question mark as to whether he would be able to go today.
The calf muscle is bothering him. In fact, he tweaked it a little bit at the end of that Charlotte game. Normally, Phil Jackson had not played Cartwright down the stretch of games. He put him in for 8 straight minutes. A steal by Scottie Pippen will lead to the slam dunk, and 2 more for Chicago. I was saying that Phil Jackson did not want to play Cartwright down the stretch of that Charlotte game, but Mourning was hurting him so badly in the lane area, he felt he had to come back with his veteran center, and the result, the calf was injured slightly.
Here's Ewing, and he was blocked by Cartwright. So Bill Cartwright called for his first.
You must protect the basketball and be careful against Chicago because they step up into passing lanes so well, and as a result of their defense forcing turnovers, they get a lot of easy points in transition. And then back down at the offense of the floor for the Knicks, the block that time as Ewing makes one of his patented moves to the middle of the lane.
So Patrick Ewing to the foul line. New York Knicks, the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference in the upcoming playoffs. Best record in the conference, clinching it on Friday night. But of most significance, The Knicks will have an easier route to the conference finals, at least on paper, than the Chicago Bulls, who, if they advance to the second round, and if Cleveland advances, would go up against the Cleveland Cavaliers in the semifinals.
Hey, let's not get past the first round. They split their 4 games with the Atlanta Hawks 2-2, and one of those wins came on a 3-pointer by Pippen with 10 seconds remaining to pull that game out. They could have been down 3-1 to Atlanta.
Horace Grant giving the Bulls a 4-3 lead. Starks guarded by Armstrong. Starks. Oh, nice goal. John Starks with a burst along the baseline, and the Knicks with a 5-4 lead.
You can believe that there is a little bit of experimenting going on from both coaches this afternoon as to what they can find out about the other team's offense and the other team's defense as they look to run their stuff.
Jordan gets it back. Armstrong. Pippen able to recover. Goes down for a second time on that sequence. Phil Jackson complaining that there should have been a foul call.
The 24-second clock has not moved now in the last 4 to 5 seconds, just stuck on 10. They just readjusted it now.
And a foul called on Charles Oakley. The Bulls now get a new 24. Cartwright got position. Rejected by Ewing. Ewing with 5 blocks on Friday against the Sixers. Oakley, who has been showing the touch from outside, that time was off the mark. Knicks 5, Bulls 4. We are just underway. Grant. So the Knicks back to the offense. From Starks, and Ewing hammered from behind by Grant.
Go back a moment ago to Bill Cartwright on offense, and Phil Jackson knows he must leave Cartwright out there to get minutes, but Ewing comes over from the blind side, a clean block to stop the layup. Cartwright actually averaging under 20 minutes a game for this regular season. Come playoff games, right now they're anticipating 30 minutes a game out of Bill Cartwright.
Bulls coach Phil Jackson, a second-round draft pick of the Knicks back in '67. Out of North Dakota, played 10 years with the Knicks. His coach with the Knicks, Red Holzman, said what he first noticed about Phil was the wingspan, the unusual wide shoulders. Bizarre, in fact, a trick that Phil likes to pull is sit in the front seat of a car, open both doors at the same time. Nifty maneuver. Jordan missing on his second shot attempt at last touch by the Knicks.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure I'd be happy about that if I was riding next to him while it takes place.
Bulls have hit 2 of 8 from the field. They have missed that last 4. Knicks 7 and the Bulls 4. Ewing picking up Jordan on the switch. Grant.
You run your offense and you look to see how New York plays the post-ups, how New York plays the pick and rolls, and then you just put it in the memory bank in case you meet in the conference finals.
Ewing double team. He was expecting contact and shot a bit hard. Oakley with the steal. Oakley on the drive. And here comes Jordan. A pull-up for 3. And a loose ball foul is called. It's against the Knicks. It's on Rivers.
Michael Jordan knows coming off screens, he's going to be double teamed by New York, so he accepts the double team and then threads the pass right between both defenders to Grant, who must now just hit an open jumper from about 10 feet away.
So rare to see Charles Oakley galloping, looking to put a move on off a drive. Scottie Pippen and the Bulls off here at the start. Knicks lead by 1. 4 minutes have gone by. Charles Oakley was also trying to put the move on Bill Cartwright, the man he was traded for. And Pippen diagnosed it but could not hang on.
A little bit of their own medicine that time as New York tries to pick and roll. A 2-man game. Chicago traps it, rotates into the passing lanes, and comes up with a deflection.
The Knicks have 11 on the shot clock. Starks working off the screen. Yes. Well, John Starks Starks had the hot hand against the Nets here on Wednesday, picking up the offense because Patrick Ewing hurt his elbow, then did not shoot well Friday against Philly, but he has come out blazing. Good defensive sequence by the Knicks. Beautiful pass from Jordan. Double teamed, but was able to locate Grant, and he got him the ball. The Knicks now lead 9-8. Unusual to see the Knicks doubling up on Jordan. Pat Riley's philosophy has always been straight up.
We talked about experimenting today. Perhaps Pat Riley looking to see what happens when they do go after Jordan and double team him. Foul it away in the middle.
Charles Oakley converting the putback. The Knicks 11 and the Bulls 8. Oakley had an unusual game the other night in Philly. 1 for 8 from the field, but still so valuable with 17 rebounds. Pippen can't find the shot. That's Jordan. That's the most regular he has seen. And Michael hitting on his first field goal.
I happened to have the Detroit game on Thursday night against Chicago, and in that first half, Scottie Pippen had 19. I talked to Michael Jordan after the game, and he mentioned he just noticed as John Starks with a little up fake loses B.J. Armstrong for the jumper. He noticed, and they knew the team that they had to get Scottie off, get him involved. Because I just laid back the first half. The ball should have gone to Scottie. He had 19 in that half. Then in the second half, Michael comes up with 26.
Jordan now 1 out of 5 here. Armstrong had it knocked away by Oakley. A host of deflections by the Knicks here in the first quarter. Ewing had it knocked away. Rivers on the recovery. The Bulls do get back. Starks back for Rivers. Finds the open man. Charles Smith.
Just by raising your eyes up to the front of the rim, you get defensive players to come to you. Then Doc Rivers found the transition man under the basket.
Armstrong. And Jordan strips Starks. Michael Jordan with a terrific defensive play and takes advantage.
Well, number 1 in the NBA in steals, Michael Jordan.
The Knicks lead by 3. Smith and Pippen in the collision. A timeout is being called with the Knicks up by 3.
The movement of the basketball, something that Riley stresses. Raise up, look at the rim, and then know where your teammates are. Doc Rivers does it to perfection. The big man running the floor, Charles Smith. And then number 1 in the league in steals, Michael Jordan strips it away from John Starks, and then a foul line jumper.
Timeout called. We'll be back in a moment. 5:22 to go in this first quarter. Even though the Knicks have clinched the top spot of the Eastern Conference, all has been settled. Pat Riley said that he would not vary from his game plan. No rests for the starters, and we talked with Pat about his approach.
I found out to the tune of a lot of money back in 87 or 88. I can't remember what year it was when I sat Kareem and James Worthy and Magic out, that I really was convinced by the league that I did a tremendous disservice to the fans who had come in and wanted to watch these guys play. So, I mean, we have to play our guys, and you don't want to say let up, because when you let up, sometimes you walk around in eggshells, and that's when you get dinged and dented. So we're going to come and play hard, try to win today.
And Riley mentioned that he looking back on it, is sorry he did it. He would never do that again in a similar situation, and today is one of those situations.
That was actually Pat Riley's last season as coach with the Los Angeles Lakers. Cartwright hitting a sweeping hook. It was really April of 1990. The years have just gone so quickly for Pat, but it was the last regular season game in Portland, and the Lakers came in winners of the Pacific, and he sat down, as he said, Magic Johnson, James Worthy, Michael Thompson, Byron Scott was out because of a sprained ankle. Oakley with the rebound. What a goal by Charles Oakley, and the Knicks now lead by 3. At any rate, Portland won that game in a rout, and the NBA fined the Lakers $25,000 because they felt it was wrong for Pat to sit down the key players.
I think also Kareem was sat down that particular game. Not that those players you mentioned or Kareem would have any effect on his team.
17-14, Knicks lead by 3. Alley-oop way off.
You must have seen the Phoenix game the other night, the backboard pass that was used.
from the field. Jordan backing Starks. Rebounded by Ewing. Rivers for Smith, who gets the ball down court. Charles Smith runs the floor so well.
Not too many people outrun Scottie Pippen in transition. At that time, it started out as a foot race, pretty even, but Doc Rivers, with angles and his ability to look up the floor, put it right on the money.
Knicks 19, Bulls 14, 3.5 left in this first quarter. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad, and a storm from Madison Square Garden. The usual 19,000 plus on hand. B.J. Armstrong getting the roll. For B.J., his first field goal. The Knicks lead by 3. The Knicks at 36-4 here at home. 19 straight wins at the Garden. 22 of the last 23. Pretty pass, Ewing for Oakley. And Charles Oakley off to the quick start. He's hit 3 of 5. He has 6 points. The Knicks 21, the Bulls 16. And the Bulls take a timeout. 2:48 remaining in the first. Thank you, Bob. And that Bulls-Hawks series should be terrific. It opens on Friday night in Chicago. During the course of the regular season, they split 4 games. Chicago won the last 2.
Chicago won in Chicago by 14, but then back in Atlanta, 88-87 victory on a 3-pointer by Pippen at the end.
And the Knicks in Indiana open up on Friday night. Knicks have won 3 out of 4. Pacers won the last meeting as Rick Smits outplayed Patrick Ewing. Patrick at the time bothered by the bad knees, but Smits had a terrific game. That counts in the foul. Horace Grant with the bucket is 4th. He has 8 points, and a foul is called on Charles Smith.
A few moments ago, the transition basket, Charles Smith takes off down the floor. Rivers off the dribble, one-hand pass, and then the reach out and catch and conversion by Charles Smith, only 6 feet 10 inches tall.
Anthony Mason will replace Charles Smith. Smith with 6 points, 2 fouls. Phil Jackson with a couple of changes. Will Purdue has come on for Bill Cartwright. And Rodney McRae, who has not been getting the playing time, has had a disappointing first season with Chicago. Also an injury hit here has come on. And here's pressure by the Bulls. Well, we talked earlier about the pressure that has bothered the Knicks, but Phil Jackson had indicated he may not show much of it. Oakley not able to handle that pass.
And just as on Christmas Day, the first 4 possessions on Christmas Day, Chicago produced 4 turnovers with their defense. They got the first one here.
Knicks closing the passing lane on Jordan for the steal. Starks not able to hit. Here comes Darrell Walker, who also just checked in. Darrell fresh off the injured list. One of several former Knicks on the Chicago roster.
2 minutes.
Jordan changed his mind. He thought he had Grant. Starks behind the back for Ewing. What a play!
And Michael Jordan was trying to get his steps down to go up for the block on John Starks. Starks surprised him with the flip behind the back.
Knicks 23. The Bulls 19. Purdue has played well against the Knicks, that time going high off the glass to avoid the outstretched arm of Patrick Ewing.
I think he caught Patrick by surprise that time. Patrick probably thought he was going to take a little more time in making his decision whether to shoot or pass.
Knicks 23, Bulls 21. The tip, actually a combined effort by Ewing and Oakley.
Who gets that shot attempt?
And it hurt them. Pretty pass from Jordan, leads to a foul. Grant run into.
As Jordan goes up, he makes a decision at the last minute to hit Grant with the pass. Instead, it goes to Starks. And here's Michael trying to get his steps down to time it, but the behind-the-backer to Patrick Ewing.
Mason was called for that foul. Now John Starks sits down. He's been replaced by Rolando Blackman. Purdue called for steps. Rolando not shooting well recently He did have a good stretch right after he reported following the stay on the injured list, but still trying to find the consistency with the jump shot. Knicks by 2. 45 seconds to go in this first quarter. Patrick Ewing.
That wasn't the fadeaway. That wasn't the hook. That was drop step. Go around your man and then put your hand in the bottom of the rim.
And Purdue able to hit again off glass.
Was he calling for it down low? Give it right back to me, he said.
Knicks by 2. And the Knicks will look to hold for a final shot. That is unless Dr. Rivers sees a driving foot that he might want to take. Saw the opportunity.
A moment ago, the movement by Patrick Ewing. Normally, it's Bill Cartwright's big body on him, but that time no one came to double team, so Patrick said, let me just put it right in the front of the rim. He loves it.
It'll be Chicago ball. The ball knocked out of bounds by the Knicks. Trent Tucker greeted warmly by the crowd. One-time New York Knicks as he comes on for the first time. So the Bulls going with a 3-guard setup for these final seconds. It's all Michael around Rolando Blackman to set up McRae. What a play.
Michael drew 3 defenders, found an open teammate.
Here's Mason trying. So that is the end of the first quarter. The Knicks and the Bulls are tied at 25. Patrick Ewing with 7 points, 3 rebounds, and a block shot to get things started here in the opening quarter.
To the best record in the East.
The Knicks inner circle presented by Bizarre. Would you run that by me one more time?
Are you confused?
No, not at all. Chicago 12 for 25 in the first quarter. Jordan was only 2 for 7. The Bulls made their last 5 field goal attempts. Second quarter underway. Rick Anthony has come on for the first time, working off a sprained ankle injury. And Scott Williams and John Paxson and Stacey King have checked in. And this is a rare situation. The Bulls with a unit on the floor with both Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen on the bench.
And that's because, as Phil Jackson mentioned, normally he gives them longer stretches before he substitutes. Come second half, he'll play the minutes necessary to try to win this game.
So he has made some adjustments, but he had indicated after that loss to Charlotte on Friday night that he might, as Mason is able to get inside of the Knicks now lead 27-25, that there would be major changes in playing time, but that's not the case. He said he's out here to win the game. And we talked with Pat Riley earlier. He made it clear there is no such word in his vocabulary. That's a rejection by Smith. No such word as rest.
He fears that players, when they hear that back off, they don't go all out, and that's when you get hurt. So he doesn't want that taking place, so he goes in and says, hey, we're here to win today.
Greg Anthony with his first field goal. The Knicks lead by 4.
Chicago has had a number of players, as a 22nd timeout is taken, a number of players that have gone through some frustrating seasons. Cartwright with his injury, but a guy that Phil Jackson really feels sorry for is John Paxson. Paxson knows the minutes are there waiting for him. Phil wants to give them back to him, but he's just not able to perform like it's necessary. It's been very frustrating for him.
Yes, John back from surgery on the left knee. Says he still has pain. At times, the condition is game to game. Check this out. As the Knicks and the Bulls are meeting here in their 4th game of the regular season. Shooting percentages by Chicago against the Knicks. Game 1 here at the Garden, 31%. Game 2, that's the game Christmas night in Chicago, won by the Bulls. 40%. Game 3, 38%. And for the season, they shoot just under 50.
Are you saying that there's an effect there of the Knicks defense?
Michael Jordan only 4 of 20 in that first meeting against the Knicks. Stacey King with the post-up move. And it's tipped home. McRae with the tip.
And there's another guy who's had a frustrating year. McRae, talking to Darryl Walker prior to the game, said, I just haven't been able to get myself on track this year. The whole season, he still just doesn't feel he's ever fit in with the Bulls offense.
Charles Smith was fouled. Yes, a sprained knee kept Rodney McCray out for some 17 games earlier this season. Stacey King called on the foul. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden. Hannah Storm here to tell you about a little journey that the Knicks will be taking after their game. Tomorrow they're going to take off for Charleston, South Carolina. All the years when Pat Riley was with the Lakers, he used to take him to Santa Barbara to prepare for the playoffs. Now that he's on the East Coast, the spot is lovely Charleston, where they will go to refocus for the playoffs and, as Pat Riley says, sequester themselves from peripheral opponents, that being family, friends, and the media, anything that would distract them from the task at hand, the NBA playoffs.
All right, Hannah, yes, that is out of the Pat Riley vocabulary, peripheral opponents. And you are now, Czar, part of the periphery as a member of the media.
But I do know the practice schedule once they get to Charleston. A little walkthrough tomorrow afternoon, what the game plan will be against their first-round opponent. Then Tuesday, a morning practice. Tuesday night, a game scrimmage. Wednesday, a morning practice. And then fly back home on Wednesday afternoon.
Well, it has worked for Pat Riley in the past with the Lakers and the Knicks, so they are headed, as Hannah mentioned, to Charleston once again. Knicks 31 and the Bulls 27. We are early in the second quarter. Again, a post-up move by Stacey King. Able to get down deep on Charles Smith. And the Knicks by 2. That's a traveling violation. It was forced by the pressure of Scott Williams. And the ball goes back to Chicago. Greg Anthony telling Charles Oakley, yes, it was my fault.
Acknowledging to the big guy that don't get excited. It was me, I know, and I'll take the blame for it because I'm going to hear about it later on.
Again, King twisting his way. Rebound, King. Good effort by Stacey King. His second field goal, and the game is tied at 31. They double up on Mason. Anthony Mason, a very good ball handler. And Anthony Mason will be key against a club like Chicago that goes to pressure. Here's Blackman. So Blackman does it off the dribble. Knicks lead by 2.
Blackman loves coming out the right side of the floor. When he was in Dallas under Dick Motta and the subsequent coaches after that, John McLeod, Richie Adebayo, they ran most of their stuff to the right side for Blackman.
Nice play by Oakley, stealing the dribble from McCray. Smith for Mason. Rebounded by King. Trent Tucker picked up on the switch by Charles Oakley.
And they credit Trent Tucker with turning the game around in Charlotte the other night with a three-pointer. The game was at 11. Phil Jackson said we just couldn't get anything going, and Trent Tucker hit a 3. Suddenly I could see the team come alive. They got right back, actually took the lead down the stretch against Charlotte before eventually losing by 1.
And the three-pointer by Tucker gives the Bulls their first lead, a 1-point margin. Blackman can't find the shot, and he's tied up. Now, Trent Tucker, as a member of the Knicks, was also noted, although he came into the pro game as with a reputation as a shooter, but noted for his defensive play. And he did a good job right there.
Because he was willing to get up and fight people, not let him come off screens uncontested. He'd stick his body in there. He would deny passing lane. So he had the mentality to do what the coaches asked him to do.
Chicago with the ball. They lead by 1. Paxson. Usual shot for Paxson. Slammed home by Scott Williams. Well, this unit on the floor for Phil Jackson has done a nice job, and they've done it without Jordan and Pippen.
Guys trying to establish themselves, getting ready for the playoffs. Tucker wants playing time. Paxson's trying to get back in his game. Williams knows they need him to replace Cartwright. McCray's been trying all season just to get something going.
Rick Anthony making it 2 out of 2. The Knicks are down by 1. 7.5 to go in the first half. King now guarded by Mason. McCray played by Smith.
McCray doesn't even look to be an offensive player when he catches the basket. He just tries to reverse it, get it over to another teammate.
And a foul, as Anthony went for the steal. Patrick Ewing making his return. Charles Oakley will sit down. Well, the Chicago bench has done a nice job here in the second quarter. Bench scoring last season 38 points per game for the Bulls. This year, as you see, they have been down just under 27 per game.
because the people that they made moves for, if you go back to a year ago, losing someone like the Cliff Livingston, the fire, the spirit behind that Bulls team for the last couple seasons. Cliff went over and played in Greece this past year. Bobby Hansen came in and hit big shots for him. Those guys were replaced with people like Rodney McRae, and he has not done anything to step up and produce those points.
And as you saw, the Prudential halftime report, Bob Costas making his return. And at halftime, they will be taking a close-up look at the Chicago bench. Nice pass, Smith from Anthony. Greg Anthony has played well, and the game is tied at 37. Nice of Bob, incidentally, to find time in his busy schedule to drop by the studios this weekend. I know you spent some quality time with him yesterday.
He showed me his planner book, and there was nothing in it. It was just...
It's a 2-on-1. And Paxson got back to stop the break. 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Anthony for 3. Well, Greg Anthony hit his first 2 and tried from downtown. Now Scottie Pippen, who made his return, picked up by Patrick Ewing.
Greg Anthony probably will not be selected to take the final three-pointer in the game, shooting 14% this season on the three-point line.
King's shot was deflected short. New York Knicks at 59-22. They are gunning for their 60th win, 59 victories, second most in club history. They've surpassed the 57-25 record of their championship team of 72-73 and trying to match what the 69-70 team did, winning 60. Well, earlier this season, Phil Jackson, who from time to time has had some candid statements to make on a number of subjects, talking about the Knicks, said, I think they're too old. They were not as young as we were when we were going after the Pistons. They've got Patrick, who's, what, 30, and Blackman, who's 33 or whatever. They're players with a lot of habits, and accumulation of personal failure, which did not sit too well with the Knicks. But I must say, Phil, in our conversation with him yesterday, has pulled back from that earlier assessment. Here's what he has to say.
Well, I'm surprised that they've been able to play the style of ball they play, hard, physical, basketball, and play that style all season long. I thought that you could play that game in the playoffs for a duration of the season, but to be able to consistently play it all year long tells me that it must be the water they're drinking up in Westchester, Marv, or something.
Well, two things. First of all, it may go back to one of the first objectives that Pat Riley tried to establish when he came to New York, to be the best conditioned team in the NBA. That's why they're able to maintain it. And then the second thing is that Phil Jackson, in his earlier statement, was just being up with the times. A little trash talking by the coach, Phil Jackson.
Yes, remember the statement last year Phil made regarding the Portland Trailblazers and their ability or lack of ability in doing it down the stretch. And he certainly heard that during the course of the championships. And as it turned out, that's how the Bulls beat the Blazers. What Phil said turned out to take place, and it hurt the Blazers. Game is tied at 37 as we come up on 5 minutes remaining in the half. Michael Jordan gives it back, as does Scottie Pippen. B.J. Armstrong rebounded by Scott Williams, and a new 24 for Chicago. Pippen broken up by Ewing. Starks, who just checked back in, accelerates and goes all the way. Off the back tap. Here comes Jordan. Pippen. And it will be Nick Ball.
Actually, Stacey King ran into B.J. Armstrong as B.J. had taken Ewing off the dribble, got in the lane. His intention was to fire it over to his teammate in the right corner. He couldn't get a good, crisp pass because Stacey King kind of wiped him out as he was trying to kick it out.
The starters making their way back. Doc Rivers has returned. Things have been evenly matched in this first half. Smith getting the good position. Knicks and the Bulls at 37 apiece. 4:20 to go. First half. Pippen, and that shot deflected.
He wanted to go up and drop it off, then at the last minute changed his mind, thought he should take a shot, but with the outstretched arm of Ewing on him, he had no chance, no way.
Now Ewing played by Williams. That's a charging foul. Offensive foul on Patrick Ewing, his first.
Anticipating Ewing was going right, Williams gets the spot, Ewing goes over the top. But a moment ago, there's Ewing with the outstretched hand. One of the principles of New York defense, you must challenge every shooter. That time, Ewing up right on it. And then off the dribble, Williams getting good defensive position, is there for the offensive foul.
Michael Jordan, 2 of 8. Scottie Pippen, 1 of 6. As Pippen was not able to hit from down low.
Pippen knew that Ewing was trying to recover. He tried to get it up a little bit too quickly.
Charles Smith with the first field goal. Quite a while for both clubs. Knicks 39, the Bulls 37. Smith is the high man with 12. He leads the Knicks. High man for Chicago, Horace Grant with 9. Phil Jackson calling for time with 3:32 remaining in this first half. Jack wearing the Czar hat. What's going on here?
Well, they're on sale all over now. Jack gets a small fee.
Walter Cronkite on hand on Jack Nicholson. Michael Douglas. Check will be in the mail, I'm certain of. And Frank and Kathy Lee, obviously. Regis, not invited.
I could have wore a Czar instead of that one, I'll tell you.
Oh, a little shot. Going berserk here in the second quarter. We come up on 3 minutes remaining in the first half. Starks rejected by King. Armstrong did not see Jordan, who was breaking. Stacey King, he was looking for a foul. Grant on the recovery. Yes. And the game is tied at 39.
Although Chicago may have sputtered at times during this season, they've undergone some, injuries to some key guys. Phil Jackson, prior to the game, said how pleased he was with the way they responded to the challenge down the stretch here and the way they played basketball, getting ready for the playoffs.
Bulls have missed their last 7 from the field before that Grant field goal. Loose ball foul has been called. It's on Rivers as Jordan hits the floor. That's his second. Michael only 2 out of 8, 4 points in his 14 minutes. Pippen 1 for 7, only 2 points in his 13 minutes in this first half.
So I'd say you'd be pretty happy if knowing that your 2 superstars are 3 for 15 and you're in a tie basketball game.
Jordan. Oh! And Ewing able to snatch it, knocked away, recovered by Rivers. Smith. One that both teams are upset about. Jordan was looking for a charge, and Smith was looking for a block.
There has been contact all over the place with both of these teams. At one end of the floor, Scottie Pippen gets thrown down by Charles Smith to the ground underneath the basket. There he goes on his way down. And then at the other end, Jordan hustled back and tried to pick up the offensive foul. They're sparing nothing this afternoon.
Yes, there was a question with everything settled on Friday as to how hard these 2 clubs would play, as to whether the regulars would see meaningful minutes, but they are playing extremely hard, and also to this point, both coaches have gone, for the most part, with the usual rotation. A couple of adjustments by Phil Jackson. The game is tied at 39. Purdue. Will Purdue getting inside. His 3rd field goal. He has 6, and the Bulls have a 2-point lead. Minute and a half remaining. First half. Starks entry pass right on target, but a foul call. Purdue pushing Ewing. That's the first on Purdue. Charles Smith departs. Charles Oakley is back. That front line has done an excellent job. Smith with 12 points, Oakley with 6, Ewing with 7. And that whistle away from the ball. And Rush with the call on Scottie Pippen, his second foul.
What I sense right now is, and we mentioned it, that the teams were going all out after each other. The contact was taking place. I think the officials sensed the same thing. It had heated up to the point where they just blew 2 quick whistles to try and clean things up. Little touch fouls or stepping in at the last second, not really cracking them hard, but a little bit of acting that time as the player comes around. But the referees right away trying to get this thing under control.
John Starks on the subject of under control. A man in the past who sometimes played out of control, but he has certainly turned his game around, playing through a broken nose at one stage this season, and has had a terrific year. One of the top candidates for most improved player in the NBA. Nice fake by Pippen. Rebound Jordan. Michael Jordan hits. And he thought he was fouled. He's holding his right wrist. Phil Jackson upset.
It's the same right wrist that he hurt in the Detroit game a couple weeks back when Dennis Rodman, chasing him down, trying to stop a layup attempt, landed on top of him and sent Michael into the floor.
Starks hits the three. He has 10 points, and the game is tied at 43. John Starks, the Knicks' top threat from downtown. 35 seconds left, first half. It's been a good one here at the Garden. Game tied at 43. First of a doubleheader, the Nets and the Pistons coming up here on NBC following the Knicks and the Bulls.
We've seen Michael Jordan make them from almost every spot on the floor. That time he makes one on the way down the seat of his pants and lands on that right wrist, and he comes up holding the wrist that he had injured in the Detroit game about a week ago.
Illegal defense called for the first time against the Knicks. Michael only 3 of 10, 6 points in this first half. 20 seconds, 17 on the shot clock. That's time remaining. First half, Pippen working the clock down, played by Mason. Armstrong, air ball, handled by Starks. Final seconds, Rivers. Doc Rivers has been the long-range threat at the end of quarters for the count. No, it won't. Doc Rivers has hit a number of flings at the end of quarters. That time he went short, but the putback came too late.
And Jake O'Donnell, the lead official, right away immediately signaled that the basket would not count. Rivers gets it off in time, but it's way short, and as it falls short below the rim, the clock is at zeros, and the red light is on behind the basket, which tells the official that it is not out of his hands in time. Look for the light going on. There it is. The shot has not been...
Rivers, yes. So Doc Rivers has hit a couple of shots here in the third. It's now lead 55-53.
You know that with Doc Rivers, you want to get strong on his right-hand side. He is much more comfortable going right than he is driving to the left. So you want to take away that middle when he starts out on the left side.
Cartwright getting position, backed his way down against Ewing. Cartwright has played well. That's the second field goal. He has 4. His presence defensively is so important for Chicago. And a timeout has been called by the Knicks.
Michael Jordan may have only been 3 for 10, 6 points in the first half, but we have seen him explode a number of times in the second half of basketball games. Takes it right into the heart of the Knicks defense. The first time Patrick Ewing, and then comes up with those second shot opportunities and finds the bottom of the net with the jump shot.
6:14 remaining, third quarter. Welcome back to Madison Square Garden. Knicks and Bulls tied at 55. Knicks with home court advantage throughout the playoffs, finishing on top in the Eastern Conference. 9 times the last 10 years, the team with the best record did advance to the finals. Couple of exceptions, as you see. But 9 out of the last 10 times, the home court advantage has paid off. Here's Starks. John Starks hitting the scoop. And the Knicks lead by 2.
I'm not so sure if this wasn't the playoffs that Phil Jackson might not have Michael Jordan defending John Starks rather than Darrell Walker, but right now you don't pull out all your tricks.
Jordan. And Ewing with the rebound. 10 rebounds for Patrick Ewing. Rivers, he's looking for that jump
running a little curl move off of Patrick Ewing, and Walker goes to the deflection. Jordan goes for the steal. It opens up the lane to the basket. A little scoop shot by John Starks falls.
Walker staying with those old-fashioned knee pads. Darrow with the ball. Here is Jordan. And Cartwright with his 8th rebound. Jordan for 3. So Michael is now 7 of 20 from the field. Ewing with a good look. Mason not able to hit. Loose ball foul is called.
A terrific pass by Patrick Ewing after he elevated up in the air, found his teammate underneath. Mason just couldn't convert.
Foul on Cartwright, his second. Rolando Blackman has come back, replacing Doc Rivers. Leads with 5 points. And Trent Tucker for Darrell Walker. I mentioned those old-fashioned knee pads. Players these days wear sleeves around their knees with the main purpose to tighten the joints, not for protection against sliding, which is why Darrell Walker wears the pads. Patrick Ewing way off. Charles Oakley battling. Oakley fighting for the rebound and then able to get position.
Doc Rivers was injured a few moments ago, came off the floor, went to the bench immediately. They're now treating it. Looks like his right wrist area.
It has been a very difficult season physically for Doc Rivers, hit with a number of injuries and ailments. Knicks lead by 4. Here's Jordan. Played very well by Starks, forcing the air ball.
Well, Starks will fight you. Doesn't matter who it is. He'll stick his nose there. He'll work at the defensive end of the floor just as hard as he works at the offensive end.
Chicago has missed its last 5 shots. Just under 4 minutes to go in the third. Ewing. The Knicks by 6. And they receive a standing ovation. Phil Jackson wants to talk it over.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden. Hannah Storm with a report on the injury to Doc Rivers, who continues to sacrifice his body for the Knicks' cause. However, this injury not serious. It's simply a jammed thumb. In fact, they have not even iced it. And the Knicks trainers say that Doc should be able to re-enter the game at any time. Mark?
All right, Hannah, yes, it has been a lovely season for Doc Rivers. Let's see, the count is 9. We can add the number 10 right here.
Yes, the right arm now goes on it, so we need another arrow and one more number up there on the list of injuries. But one thing about Doc Rivers, he, for his entire career, has been injury prone, but shows up and plays hurt and gives what he can.
Knicks lead by 6. 3:25 remaining. Third quarter. A Chicago turnover. Starks and Blackman now in the backcourt. Mason, Ewing, Oakley up front. Oakley. Yes. Charles Oakley has been showing some consistency with the outside touch in the latter portion of the season. 8-0 run by the Knicks. And they lead by 8. Pippen. Horace. Anthony Mason with the rebound, and the Bulls now having trouble finding good shots.
And Riley on the sideline is coaching just as hard as if it's any other game. He's trying to deliver this message that they can shut down the Bulls' offense.
Patrick Ewing with a gorgeous turnaround. The Knicks have opened up a 10-point lead. Chicago, on the other hand, has missed its last 6. Here's Pippen wide open for 3. Jordan with the rebound. Michael Jordan with the reverse. And the Knicks now lead 65-57, so that ends the 10-0 run. Starks will save it. A minute 40 to go in the third quarter. switch playing Jordan. Starks gets back to him. Tucker. Jordan one-on-one. Starks playing him so well. That time it counts as a foul. The bump by Starks, who has made it very difficult for Michael Jordan to find good shots.
You're right. He has made it difficult, but somehow, some way, scorers find a way to score. One way is to offensive rebound and get a chippy down inside. The other way is to get your defensive man up in the air with some ball fakes, step through, and then somehow create a shot opportunity.
Now Jordan, able to complete the three-point play. Rebounded by King. Stacey King could not convert. Here comes Starks. Stopped by Armstrong. John Starks tried to do too much. He tried to whip by B.J. Armstrong. Knicks with a 6-point lead. Again, the one-on-one coverage. Blackman over to help. Armstrong, yes. Michael Jordan once again with the good decision, giving it up as the double team came. And the Knicks now lead 65-61. 50 seconds to go in the third. Chicago with 6 consecutive points after the Knicks had reeled off 10 straight. Shot clock at 6. Ewing trying to flip it over to Oakley. And a traveling violation is called. Ewing actually passed to himself.
Michael Jordan had just knocked down 2 shots, so now he brings 2 defensive players to him, then tells his man, B.J. Armstrong, just spot up and I'll find you. B.J. Armstrong knocks down the jump shot. Michael Jordan has taken 23 shot attempts already in this game. He averages 26 a game during the season, so don't think he didn't come and try to win this thing this afternoon.
And that leads to a jump ball. Meanwhile, Pippen is now 1 for 11.
He gets the step, he gets in the seam, and then just using the one hand isn't quite able to control the ball to get it up over the rim.
Michael Jordan, you mentioned 23 shots, only 9 of 23, but he has scored 12 of his 18 here in the third quarter. 27 seconds to go in the third. And the Bulls handle the tip. Scottie Pippen checking the clock. Scottie Pippen in last year's playoff round against the Knicks had all kinds of troubles, and he's had a very long afternoon. Sets up Scott Williams. Yes. So the Bulls within 2 after trailing moments ago by as many as 10. Havoc created off the press. Crowd wanted a foul. Well, they get a foul, but it's Anthony with a hard foul on Armstrong. The Bulls want a flagrant. And let's see how the officials handle this with 1 2/10 seconds remaining in the third quarter. The Bulls looking for a flagrant, and they get the call.
If you take a player and knock him to the ground and don't think that the reputation doesn't stay with you, the team reputation, the individual reputation, these officials are not going to let this game get out of control, so they award the flagrant foul. But a tremendous presence by Scott Williams to not just hoist it up there, he actually looked up at the 24-second clock and then threw the pass to his teammate Armstrong. Here's the decision. Was this a flagrant foul by knocking him to the ground? The officials felt close enough, walking the fine line to award the ball back to Chicago.
Well, I think there's no question you have to make that call. In particular, with a club like the Knicks, no strangers to rough play and flagrant fouls. Charles Oakley leading the NBA with 11. Anthony Mason with 4. Greg Anthony also has had several called against him this season. And the officials have to set the tone because it certainly, as we have seen in the past, can get out of hand. Pippen got off in time. That's the end of the third quarter. Chicago with a 10-0 run after the Knicks were able to reel off 10 unanswered points. Michael Jordan coming to life in the third quarter. Michael Jordan with 12 of his 18 in the third. The Knicks of the Bulls are tied as we head to the fourth. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station. Madison Square Garden, we're set for the start of play in the fourth. It has been even throughout. 25 apiece after one, tied at halftime, and now tied after three at 65 apiece. Knicks led by as many as 10 off a 10-0 run. B.J. Armstrong not able to hit, and a loose ball foul is called. It's on Stacey King of Chicago. The Bulls closed out the third quarter with 10 straight points. Phil Jackson, assistant coach Tex Winter. Phil Jackson makes substitutions to get this fourth quarter underway. Rodney McCray is back. Scott Williams, Stacey King, John Paxson. Nice fake by Ewing. It draws the foul on King. Patrick Ewing will go to the line. That's number 3 on Stacey King.
So in the absence of Bill Cartwright, New York goes right back down to Patrick Ewing against Stacey King, trying to see if they can get their big center off on a little run here to start the fourth quarter.
Ewing, 11 points, 11 rebounds. Patrick playing through the sore knees, the sprained right elbow that was aggravated in the game Wednesday night against the Nets here at the Garden. The Knicks 67, the Bulls 65. Two-time defending champion Chicago Bulls gunning for a three-peat. No team has won 3 straight NBA titles since Boston won 8 in a row from 1959 through 66. Nicely done as B.J. Armstrong finished it off with the reverse.
One thing that Phil Jackson wanted to stress was execution of their offense against the Knicks defense, at that time to perfection, swinging the ball one side to the other, and then a little slice curl cut from the weak side produced the layup.
And a foul is called on Ewing, his second.
Away from the basketball, the cutter comes down the lane. King, with a nice bounce pass, produces the layup.
Game is tied at 67 with a minute gone by. In this fourth quarter, they double up on Armstrong. McCray played by Mason. Shot clock at 4. Stacey King. He was forced into the difficult shot by Ewing, who altered it. Anthony and Blackman down the backcourt. Ewing, Mason, Oakley up front. Here's Blackman. And the pushing foul on Oakley. A shove of Williams.
After the ankle injury, Scottie Pippen returned immediately to play the next 3 games. The ankle injured in the Cleveland game, and he produced 14, 16, 35 respectively. Against New York this season, rather, the first 3 games he had these points. Today, only 2.
Scottie Pippen not shooting the ball well, way off. This afternoon, he is now 1 for 12, only 2 points. Pippen and Jordan sitting out here at the start of the fourth. Pretty hook by Scott Williams. He's hit 3 out of 4. He has 6 points, and the Bulls lead 69-67. Charles Smith. And it's a charging foul. Foul on Smith. That is number 3 on Smith as a timeout has been called.
And a little bit of talking by Scott Williams after the foul is called. Scott Williams takes pride in playing defense, moves his feet, is hooked by Charles Smith.
Genuine moments.
And this Miller moment takes us back to last year's Eastern Conference semifinals when the Chicago Bulls ended the New York Knicks electrifying playoff run of the 7th and deciding game of the series. Michael Jordan lit up the Knicks for 42 points. Scottie Pippen came up with a triple-double as the Bulls knocked off the Knicks 110-81 en route to their 2nd consecutive NBA championship. In recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. And Jordan and Pippen remain on the bench with 9.5 remaining on the fourth quarter. The Bulls lead them 69-67. Armstrong played by Anthony. Shot clock at 5. And Scott Williams and Anthony Mason in that collision. And it was last touched by the Knicks. The Let's see. The Bulls will have 4 on the 24.
The rotating defense. One guy comes along the baseline. Oakley gets it from behind.
Play by Oakley to knock it aside. Mason with the box out. 6 rebounds for Anthony Mason. Greg Anthony getting the playing time after Doc Rivers hurt his wrist in the 3rd quarter. Good defense by Armstrong. Still able to get it off as he took advantage of the height disparity. He was tied at 69. Working off the screen, a foul is called. It's on Anthony. That is his 3rd. Here comes John Starks. And Greg Anthony will sit down. So now the Knicks will go with John Starks at the point guard position. John Starks has done a nice job at point guard. Although Pat Riley, I know, would prefer having either Doc Rivers or Greg Anthony at that spot, but at times Starks has had to play it.
But what Riley has done now is put a very big backcourt in there to shoot over the top of a small Chicago backcourt, B.J. Armstrong and John Paxson.
Starks with the step. He's fouled. It's Scott Williams stepping in his path. Called for the block. That's the 1st on Williams.
Be sure to cut off the lane to the basket. Step up and get in the path of the ball handler. Well, that's what Scott Williams certainly does.
And now Trent Tucker replaces B.J. Armstrong. So apparently, Mike, Phil Jackson looking to get a little bigger in the backcourt.
The chess match, you bring a bigger guy in to defend the bigger guards that New York has on the floor. And then here comes another guy with a little bit of size, Michael Jordan, coming in the game.
And Michael hearing it from the crowd. As the Bulls go to a 3-guard setup, Rodney McCray sitting down. So it's Jordan with Paxson and Tucker, along with Williams and King.
Now you can call it a 3-guard lineup, or you could call Michael Jordan a small forward right now, either one.
Knicks with a 2-point lead. Michael Jordan had 12 of his 18 in the 3rd quarter. Deflected by Blackman. Crowd here at the Garden cheering deflections. Now that goes back to the early 70s when they would pick up different subtleties of the game that you may not hear in many arenas. And that was deflected out, so 6 remaining on the shot clock. Jordan for Williams. Crowd wanted to travel. Scott Williams off a good look by Michael Jordan.
This crowd, they want to travel on a pump fake, a ball fake. They want to call somehow.
The game is tied at 71. 7:45 remaining in the 4th. Starks on the recovery. Blackman for 3. Yes. Rolando Blackman has hit 3 out of 3. He has 7. The Knicks lead 74-71.
And Rolando Blackman has been a very good 3-point shooter this season. He's only taken 72 of them going into this game, but has hit 42% of them.
Rolando Blackman could be a very important player for the Knicks come playoff time. Oakley with the rebound. That's 10 rebounds, along with 10 points for Charles Oakley. Starks setting it up. Shot clock down to 6. Blackman backing. Paxson. Blackman not able to hit with the 24-second buzzer going off. Trent Tucker was trying to set up for the 3, but Blackman not allowing it. Now Mason switches off to Jordan. Shot clock at 6. Tucker for 3.
What Chicago doesn't like right now is that New York is getting away with a lot of holding and grabbing, knocking them out of their patterns.
Which has been the Knicks style, and in the past, Phil Jackson has complained about it. Timeout is called. We'll be right back. Well, Michael Jordan coming into today averaging 32.7 per game as he is on his way to his 7th consecutive scoring title. He will tie Wilt Chamberlain for most consecutive scoring titles. Chamberlain did it his first 7 years in the league. And then, as our Wilt Chamberlain expert, Mr. Stats Elliott Gow points out, when Chamberlain stopped winning scoring titles, the very next season, his team won a championship for the first time. Philadelphia 76ers doing it. However, Michael Jordan winning scoring titles the last 2 years and obviously did not affect the Chicago Bulls.
No, he has 2 world championship rings to show for all the effort he put in.
But the Bulls scoring are a bit more balanced than what took place when Chamberlain was winning scoring titles. Knicks lead by 3. Starks with a hard driving move is fouled. And John Starks hurt his hand. Quickly over to Nick Trainer. Mike Sutton jammed a finger. Don't look, Czar, don't watch. Jammed finger being taken care of by Nick Trainer. Mike Saunders.
Starks turned to the Chicago bench like he was going to get some help from them in pulling that finger back in place again. Nobody wanted any part of it over there. The drive to the basket. As Starks goes up, Jordan comes down, and there he gets a piece of the finger, and that's where Starks feels it immediately.
I'm not sure if Chicago Bulls trainer Chip Schaefer waved him off. I don't think they knew what was happening.
He pointed down the other end of the floor.
See the other guys. John Starks has also been hit by a number of injuries this season, has played right through it, including a broken nose. And John will hang in. No question about it. John Starks, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, having an outstanding day. Here's another look at it. John had the jammed finger taken care of, and he's to the foul line. No problem. All right, for a report, let's go over to Hannah Storm. Trust that all has been cleared up. Now let's go to Hannah.
Well, apparently what happened there with John Starks' finger is he dislocated it. Knicks trainer Mike Saunders went over and popped the finger back in place, put some tape on it, and sent Starks back into the ballgame, Mark.
All right, Hannah. Patrick Ewing was called for that foul, his 3rd. The Knicks lead 76-72 with 5:39 remaining in the game. Scott Williams has done a good job off the bench. His 3rd year out of North Carolina. Very active player. Quick jumper. Solid defensively. And has done well in the playoffs in the last couple of years.
Jackson feels very safe, very secure when he puts Scott Williams in the game. He does the things that are necessary to win. Rebounds, set screens, and understands his role very well.
Shot clock at 5. Ewing. Extending to a 5-point Knick lead, 15 points for Ewing.
Not many times you get 7-footers that can step out 20 feet away, face up, and then just consistently hit jump shots.
Here's Jordan, trying to hang, could not hit. Back comes Starks. Ball knocked away by Grant. Blackman at the recovery, and the bucket. Rolando Blackman has been a major factor. Phil Jackson calls for time. Bob, as you see, 4:53 remaining 4th quarter here at Madison Square Garden, and the Knicks lead by 7. The Knicks and Chicago, 2 of the hottest teams in the NBA since the All-Star break. Rudy T and his Houston Rockets at 25-5. Knicks 25-6, followed by the Chicago Bulls.
You have to feel a little bit sorry for those Houston Rockets losing Vernon Maxwell with the broken navicular bone.
Shot clock at 10. Grant, played by Mason. Armstrong is back. Shot clock at 3. Armstrong battling for the shot. B.J. Armstrong able to connect despite the tight defense of Rolando Blackman. And the Knicks lead by 5. Ewing with the fadeaway. Patrick Ewing will take it.
So when you're on a roll, you get every bounce. That time to hit the rim, hit right up on the top of the backboard, still went in.
Scottie Pippen is 1 for 13. Knicks by 7. Williams called on the foul.
Patrick Ewing knows that he can get a good look over the top of Scott Williams because of the difference in size. That's why Williams goes for steals down in the post area. The big step, the look, and then rim, backboard, and through.
Ewing to the line. He's 5 for 6 from the line. He has had another solid game. 17 points, 11 rebounds, 3 block shots. Knicks lead by 8. MVP is the chant for that man, Patrick Ewing. That's the first we've heard of it this season. The first time the crowd has created that particular chant, but it's a very difficult field. A field that includes Charles Barkley and Hakeem Olajuwon, Michael Jordan, and Patrick Ewing. Knicks lead by 9. Armstrong. Mason rebounds with the box out. Well, coming into today with everything settled on Friday with the Bulls losing to Charlotte on Friday night, there was a question as to the meaning of the game in terms of records. It certainly has no meaning at all. Loose ball foul against Mason. But these clubs have played at a very high level. Pat Riley has used the same rotation. Phil Jackson has had a couple of twists, but for the most part has played the guys who are thinking to play come playoffs.
It almost was like a playground game. Two teams showing up in the playground saying, let's just play for pride here. Let's just play because there's a basketball game to be played out here, and we both like winning more than anything else.
Well, as we mentioned right at the start, Pippen has difficulty finding a shot. Charles Smith has done a terrific job against Scottie Pippen. Michael Jordan is now 10 of 27. He has 20, and the Knicks lead by 7. This could be labeled as a statement game. If the Knicks can hold on and win, it means they take the season series 3 games to 1 against the club that swept the season series against them last year, 4-0. And over the years, the Knicks have not been able to beat the Bulls, either here at the Garden or in Chicago.
You take steps in building what they hope will be a championship team. Little by little, that man, Pat Riley, has done a sensational job in putting this whole thing together, as he has the ability to look way down the road from his past experiences at what it takes to be a championship caliber team.
But the second season gets underway Thursday and Friday nights. On Friday night, for both these clubs, Pippen is turned back. And last touched by Pippen. That's the kind of day that it's been for Scottie.
When you take the ball to the hole against New York, you talk about collapsing defense. There's Smith, there's Ewing, there's Mason. Not easy to get a clean look at the rim.
We approach 2 minutes remaining in the game. With only 77 points, Knicks lead by 7. They double up on Smith. Able to find Ewing from deep. Armstrong on the run. Beautifully done. Horace Grant from B.J. Armstrong, and the Bulls are within 5. A minute 40. Remaining fourth quarter. Look out, Ewing did not see that pass and took it up the side of the head. Anthony Mason flipped it to him. Careless play by
And the way Chicago does it, one is run the floor hard, and the uncontested layup by Grant after the lob pass by BJ. Then Ewing is calling out a play. His teammate Mason thinks he's calling for the ball. Instead, another turnover.
With the timeout, we'll take a break. 1:29 to go. Scottie Pippen has played 32 minutes, averages just under 19 per game for the season today. 2 for 15 for only 4 points. Meanwhile, both Pippen and Jordan have received the playing time. Michael Jordan has played 36 minutes.
Well, Phil Jackson said that he would read the score in the second half, and that would determine how many minutes they would play, because they were going to try to win this basketball game. So their minutes are right up around where they normally are during regular season games.
Chicago with 3 timeouts, 3 and a 20, Knicks with 2 remaining. The Knicks lead is down to 3 points. 1:25 remaining fourth quarter. And Starks got the step. Put a beautiful spin on Armstrong. Knicks 86, the Bulls 81 with about 15 remaining in the fourth quarter. Pippen to a clean hook. Here's pressure. Scott Williams got picked off, though, by Patrick Ewing, and Rolando Blackman got it across. A lead for Charles Smith. Rejected by Pippen, and it will be Chicago ball. Terrific defensive play by Scottie Pippen.
The defense by both of these teams has been sensational. They come up with big stops just when they need it. The backdoor time. Then there's the collapsing defense of Chicago taking away what seemed to be a layup.
Michael Jordan forcing the issue as he was hammered. Did get the shot off, and he will go to the line.
Come on, Eddie.
Both teams are over the limit. John Starks called for the foul. That's his second. And Jordan to the line. He is 0 for 1 at the line. That's been it. Well, this is most unusual. Michael Jordan is an 84% free throw shooter. Now, Doc Rivers, a man that Pat Riley wants on the floor in the final minutes of games, has checked in despite injuring his wrist earlier in the second half.
The reason, because you feel safe with Doc Rivers and the basketball in his hand. He doesn't commit too many turnovers or mental mistakes with the basketball.
Pressure by Chicago. Knicks able to get it down. 35 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Knicks with the ball and a 4-point lead. Shot clock at 10. Here's Patrick Ewing, and a foul is called. A good portion of this crowd on its feet cheering the Knicks.
Scott Williams is directly behind Ewing. Ewing does a good job of holding his position. There's no question about it. Scott Williams gets him on the arm before he gets the shot attempt up.
Knicks receiving a standing ovation here as Patrick Ewing makes it 8 of 9 from the line and 20 points. Timeout taken by Chicago. The Knicks gunning for win number 60, which would put them alongside the 69-70 first New York Knicks championship squad. The Knicks trying to make it 20 straight wins at home, 23 of 24. The timeout situation. Both clubs are over the limit. 27 and 2/10 seconds. Remaining in the fourth quarter. Knicks lead 87. 82 again, the chant of MVP for Patrick Ewing. Knicks 88. The Bulls 82. Blackman pressing in the backcourt along with Starks. Now Pippen handling.
Just trying to use up more time off the clock before Chicago can get the ball up the court.
Knicks are over the limit. They do not want to foul. Scott Williams, yes! Scott Williams with a clutch bucket. The Bulls within 4. You see time remaining. And the Knicks call for time with 10 and 8/10 seconds to go in this fourth quarter. So the Knicks are down to 1 timeout left. The Bulls have 2 and a 20. A reminder Pistons in Detroit. Could this be the last time we see the bad boys play together? The Pistons eliminated from playoff contention. New Jersey and Detroit, that's next right here on NBC.
I don't think there's any question at the end of this season there will be a major shakeup in the Pistons organization. There will be an attempt to trade certain players. Other players will flat out be cut and waived. Piston management willing to swallow the salaries that remain and utilize the monies they regain towards the salary cap as best they can. They have Miami's first-round draft pick coming up, providing it's not a lottery pick this year. Then they would have their own draft pick this year coming up, so they think that they're on the way to rebuilding this team with younger players.
10 and 8/10 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The Knicks 88, Bulls 84. When we resume, it will be Nick Ball. Both teams are over the limit, so a foul would put the opposition at the line. The Knicks seeking their 60th victory, looking to go 60 and 22. That would tie the franchise record of 60 victories, matching the 60 and 22 mark of the 1969-70 world champion New York Knicks. Chicago Bulls, on the other hand, coming at 57 and 24. Now the Knicks have a second timeout charged to them, so that is their finale.
And the reason for that is now they can advance the basketball if they want to half-court, avoid any violation in the backcourt, and try and get the ball inbounds from the half-court line.
As I said, the Bulls at 57 and 24. They've been an excellent road team, 26 and 14, but they've lost the last two on the road at Charlotte and at Cleveland last Sunday night, and they face the prospect of ending the regular season with 3 straight road defeats. Chicago 40% shooting for the afternoon on 38 of 95, and the Knicks at 50%. Where the Bulls suffered today, Scottie Pippen, 2 of 16 from the field for 4 points. And Michael Jordan only 10 of 27, well under his norm with 21 points.
Now, if you need something to compare that to, you said they're shooting only 40% today against the New York defense. Normally, during the regular season, this Chicago team shoots slightly over 48% from the floor, which puts them well into the upper third of the NBA teams.
Well, a look ahead to next weekend here on NBC. We'll be on hand at the Boston Garden, and that should be a sensational series. The up-and-coming Charlotte Hornets going against the Boston Celtics, then San Antonio and Portland following Charlotte and Boston. That'll be Saturday. On Sunday, the Knicks in game 2 of their series against Detlef Schrempf and the Indiana Pacers, followed by the Lakers going up against Charles and the Suns, and Atlanta and Chicago as part of our triple-header playoff coverage. The playoffs get underway Thursday and Friday nights, and our coverage Saturday and Sunday. 10 seconds to go. Knicks do not have any timeouts remaining. The inbounds handled by Ewing, and the Bulls give a foul, and Scott Williams comes up hobbling. The Knicks very fortunate to avoid that 5-second violation.
They were very close. What they did is they started out Grant on the basketball as if he was going to jam the passer from the side out. He took a 1 count, 1,001, and then turned and looked to pick up anyone that was coming towards the basketball, basically zoning off the area. It gave New York a problem for about 4 seconds.
Patrick Ewing is now 9 of 11 from the line. He's a 72% free throw shooter. 9 and 5/10 seconds remaining. Bulls do have timeouts left. Ewing hits 1 out of 2. Knicks extend to a 5-point lead, and Chicago now calls for time. So the Bulls have a conventional timeout remaining plus a 20, and they are down by 5 points.
When you're down 5, you understand that you need either a 2 and then a 3, or you need a 3 and then a 2. either way, after the basket, you want to try and steal the inbounds pass, but if not, you must foul immediately. So you don't necessarily have to force a three-pointer up here as you take the ball out. If you can get a quick two, take it. You may get fouled in the act of trying to score the layup and get your three-pointer that way, or you may just get the deuce, steal the inbounds pass, and then take a shot at the three there.
And Mike, the Bulls 1 of 6 from three-point land this afternoon. Trent Tucker hit one. He's 1 for 2. Pippen and Jordan 0 for 2 from downtown. The Knicks with an 89-84 lead. And if they're able to hold on, this would be the 25th time this year that the Knicks allowed under 90 points.
And now will Phil Jackson take Paxson off the bench, put Tucker in the game. You have Pippen and Jordan, 4 guys that can all knock out three-pointers and go for it that way, or leave his regular unit on the floor and just try and get that quick two, and then worry about the steal, deflection, whatever on the inbound pass by New York.
Well, the officials trying to get them to play now. They want Chicago to break the huddle. Here they come.
One of the favorite plays for Chicago is to have Pippen take it out, and after he throws, he runs after his own pass. He hopes that the defensive player turns his head. They look to go right back to Pippen. Pat Riley probably will keep Orlando Blackman on him the entire time. Don't leave him alone. He's their most dangerous guy after the pass.
It's Stacey King going to the drive. Michael Jordan. Rivers try to draw the foul. Jordan with the 3 off the mark, and the Knicks have won number 60. They defeat the Bulls 89-84. They take the season series 3 games to 1. They make it 20 straight wins at home. Let's go to Hannah, who is alongside Patrick Ewing.
Patrick, they were chanting your name, MVP, MVP, as you took the season series 3 games to 1 from the Bulls. What kind of statement did you guys make today?
I don't think it was, we just wanted to come out and play our game. Even though we had the home court wrapped up, we still wanted to go down to history. We wanted the very few teams to win 60 games, and we've achieved that today.
Thanks, Patrick, and good luck in the first round against Indiana.
Thank you very much.
Mars?
All right, Hannah, Patrick Ewing with an outstanding game. 22 points, 12 rebounds, 3 block shots, played 40 minutes in all. Michael Jordan with 21. Horace Grant had 15. Michael Jordan, though, shot only 10 of 28 from the field. And Scottie Pippen, 2 of 16. So the Chicago Bulls finished the regular season at 57-25, and they lose their last 3 on the road. The Knicks wind up at 60-22 on top of the Eastern Conference at home court advantage right throughout the playoffs.